So Dragon Ball Figures on Instagram posted some images here saying that the Recoome is on display, or was on display in Paris at the Japan Expo. Okay, so here we have a look at this Recoome figure, a prototype or whatever, right? And I mean, as I said before, I generally like how the figure looks, apart from the lack of shading and detail. Look how plain this is. Like, if there's any shading on this thing, dude, it's so difficult to tell, it's not even worth talking about. Look how plain this is. And look at the price tag. $85, right? You're charging $85 for this thing, and you're still too lazy to put some good shading on this thing, man. You're still too lazy to shade this thing. Like, it's unacceptable. It is unacceptable, okay? And I'm actually going to show you later what a figure like this, in fact, the normal Recoome, I'm going to show you what that figure would look like if it actually had good shading. I'm actually going to show you, I'm not just going to tell you, I'm going to show you what that Recoome figure would look like if it actually had good shading and actually deserved to be in a line that calls itself premium, okay? We're going to be looking at that later. And they've got the Frieza here as well. The universe's bottomless power. I think this figure, you know, like sculpt-wise, it might be, you know, decent, you know, kind of good-ish. Not like perfect, but like, you know, obviously way better. Well, it's better than the 1.0, I would say. But still, look at how plain this is. No, I can't see, dude, is there any shading on this thing at all? I can't see any, right? So plain, no shading or anything, okay? A so-called premium line should not be this plain, dude. Like, you have to, like, dude, seriously. Look at this, right? Another image here, kind of blurry, but I don't see any shading on this thing at all. There might be some subtle something, but nothing worth talking about, okay? Then we have this as well. All right. And I'm actually thinking about making a video in the future, possibly the near future, going over like what SH Figuarts would actually look like if they had good shading, like actually showing you what they would look like, okay? Yeah, so got that right there. You know, I mean, I like the fact that at least some of the, well, these are not painted. These are not painted at all, but he does have some scratches here. So why would they not, like, why are these molded? You see, I don't know if this is molded and painted or just painted, because if this is not molded, but it's painted, why would you not just paint the stuff that is molded? Because look, this stuff is like molded, it seems, right? These scratches or whatever. Why would you not just paint that instead of adding other stuff that's not molded? Bandai's just ridiculous, man. Bandai's just like such a horrible company, dude. So moving on, I wanted to show this once again. This is the Storm Arena Biscuit Oliva, like a prototype, right? Look at the shading on this thing. Look at the detail, all that stuff, and compare that to this plain garbage over here. This Recoome figure, right? $85 for this. $85. Look at that plain, basic looking nonsense. And then look at this, which is probably going to be about somewhere between 35 to like 45, I would guess, as a like price range for this thing, okay? That's what I'd guess is the price range for this. And look how much more incredible. Even the sculpt, dude. Even the sculpt looks incredible. You see that? It looks like a statue with joints. That's basically how good it looks. And I actually noticed that with Storm's, their prototype, well, like kind of a prototype statue thing for Yuichiro Hanma, Yujiro's father, Yujiro Hanma's father, it seems that what they do is they actually make a statue and then they add joints to the statue. That's how seriously they take their artistic craft. They make an incredible looking statue and then engineer joints into that statue, okay? Whereas Bandai's over here, making these Toys R Us exclusives and charging ridiculous prices. Just nonsense. So this is awesome stuff. This is what a premium action figure actually looks like, okay? If you want to call something premium, it better look like this, okay? Moving on, I also wanted to show this. Another massive character, right? Zangief, huge character. $42.99 for the Storm Arena Zangief, okay? And look at the shading in the muscles and stuff, man. Okay, let's get this. Let's zoom in here. Look at the shading in the muscles and stuff, right? See all that detail? That's what SH Figuarts should look like. Look at this, okay? Look at this. And then look at this plain nonsense over here for $85, right? Bandai's just scamming people, dude. You can't defend this nonsense. Oh, we're getting... Oh, hold on. So look at this, okay? And then you have this right here as well. See all the shading and the detail and the muscles and stuff like that, man. Okay? SH Figuarts should have this kind of detail. You see? This is what SH Figuarts should be looking like if you want to charge people $85 and all these ridiculous prices. This is what you should be making, man. Right? Not that basic plain looking garbage and asking for $85. Right? Look at that. Look at all that detail right there. All that shading and stuff. Look at the sculpt and everything, dude. Right? Awesome musculature and everything. Look at that, right? This is what SH Figuarts should be. Look at that right there, okay? And I recently saw LPZZ as well, and the figures that I saw actually look really incredible as well. So I think LPZZ is another like top tier artistic like figure line kind of thing going on. So yeah, look at this, man, right? $42.99, and then you got this plain garbage over here for 80 whatever dollars. It's not the license, it is Bandai. Bandai is a greedy, money grubbing company. Understand that and accept the truth. All right, so now this is by Bad Bear Custom on Instagram, right? They actually like repaint SH Figuarts figures to give them like good shading, good detail, all that kind of stuff. And look at how awesome this looks. You see how much better the Recoome figure would look if it actually had good detail? You see, if it actually had good shading and stuff, right? SH Figuarts should be applying this kind of detail and shading and stuff to their figures to justify these disgusting prices, right? You can't be charging people $85 and giving them this plain Toys R Us, Walmart, Kmart nonsense, okay? You see, Bandai gets away with this because they have absolutely no competition regarding Dragon Ball. None whatsoever. None whatsoever. Like, for example, the SH Figuarts Ryu is on sale on Big Bad Toy Store. And why is it on sale? Well, I think it's probably on sale because basically no one's going to be buying that for $80 when the Storm Arena Ryu for like, let's say $30 to $35 looks better, okay? Looks better than that. And Bandai's charging $80, dude. It's not the license, it's Bandai. The problem is Bandai, okay? So look at that, looks really cool, right? Looks way better than the official figure. Then you have this as well, another look at that, right? This right here, you see that, man? You want to call something art? You want to talk about figure art? You should be adding this artistic detail to the figures, adding good shading and stuff like that to justify your disgusting prices. Got this right here, right? Look at that. Then we've got this. Look how much better that figure would look. It would actually look like it deserves to be called art, right? If it actually had this kind of detail, right? Look at that. You got this. Okay. And they have like other SH Figuarts figures that they've repainted and stuff on their Instagram. And if I do make a video about it, I want to like highlight other figures they've made as well, or like other custom, you know, paint and stuff they've applied to the figures. So you got this. Look at that, right? Now it looks like an actual artistic collectible, right? And not like a plain Kmart aisle 6 plain Toys R Us nonsense, right? Yeah. Finally, you got that right there. And then look at the official Recoome. It's $72 in 2021. So if you adjust for inflation, that'll probably be like what? I don't know. Let's say $75 or $80 today. And look how plain this is. You want to charge people $72 for this plain basic nonsense, right? You should be actually applying detail like this if you want to charge those kinds of prices, man. Okay? Nonsense. You can't defend this garbage.